All right. We should be live now.
Sure.
Oh, should be. I mean, it's doing stupid stuff. YouTube has changed crap, but
We'll have to keep an eye out and see if we get any viewers, and then they can confirm if we're showing.
oh, yeah. I mean, I'll just have to, after the show, go through and see what all they've changed so I can get us back on.
No, Damien started playing a Horizon patch. That's cool.
So.
I've played Horizon a few times. He's doing mod vids again. Wonder if he's going to jump on a Diablo when it comes out.
He probably will.
Yeah, I got us live.
We are live. Okay. Yeah, it is. It has changed. It changed our icon for being live. But that's fine. Well, I'll get it all fixed, I guess, for next time. Anyway, we're here. We made it barely. I think all of us had stuff to do today, so we're all sort of coming in last minute here, but we've got plenty of stuff to talk about. So let's get started. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q, Daddy Q.
Daddy Q, yeah, you
son's birthday
today. So, and then on Skype,
we have Bloodaxe.
all right.
I got on my daddy hat.
Let's get started. Let's see. Where were we? Oh, my dang browser got moved around while I was trying to fix that.
Out, but I refuse.
I know.
Because I've memorized the topic.
Well, I mean, I don't have your topics even up here, so
we're gonna look them up as we go.
Yeah, we'll just do them as we go. Let's see.
F it, we'll do it live.
Do it live.
Don't curse though. The first 8 seconds we can't.
We're figuring it out live.
And we apparently have a ratio of F-bombs, but we don't know what it is because YouTube won't tell anybody how many F-bombs are allowed.
Yeah.
It's a nebulous too many.
I think it's just one of those things of they look at certain spots and the beginning being one of the early.
Oh no, it's absolutely not allowed in the first certain amount of seconds.
Yeah.
But then there's a nebulous too many over the course of the video that Angry Joe's been trying real hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And I'll let him play that game.
Oh, so he's been talking about it too.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking about it for years, but
but he does drop.
We just never cared enough to but we're trying to do better.
Hey, we pretend to care.
Okay.
What YouTube thinks. We don't, but we pretend to care.
All right. Well, first I'm about to talk about some stuff I care about then, and I was hoping to see what happens with this Babylon 5 reboot thing.
Garrett's probably waiting on that too.
So far, they talked to somebody about it so the original Babylon 5 star Bruce Boxleitner. Apparently he was at some Disney event and he got asked about it, and basically he said, I haven't heard a thing. I know there was big corporate shakeups going on at Warner Brothers and CW and all that, so I don't know how it's played out. So basically, here we are, 2 years with all this Warner Brothers CW shakeup almost, and
well, I mean, I didn't send it to you because I know you don't care, but Gotham Knights is not doing well.
Yeah.
The newest CW shows are not doing well.
So, I mean, my thing is at this point, if you haven't heard anything, there's a good chance it's not happening. Maybe.
Or he's not in it. They're crazy, dude. They may decide to recast him.
Well, I mean, there was a pilot and everything already filmed, so.
There's a pilot for Powerpuff Girls film, and that live action didn't come out.
Yeah. But, well, no, and that's the thing. I mean, if you haven't heard anything, I mean, that's pretty bad news.
No, I agree.
At this point.
I'm just making light of it because,
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I trust them to I think Bab 5's good as it is, man. If anything, maybe refilm the last few seasons that I felt like got
this
rushed.
is what I think should happen, is instead Warner Brothers find a better place for it than the CW. I think the CW is really a bad place for this.
Oh, well, I mean, I have an opinion on that too. Yes. Yes, the CW is a terrible place. The CW is like Oz from that show back in the day. It looks nice on the outside, but it's a rape prison. They just rape your franchise. What? That's not a bad word.
That's one of those words that you're not supposed to say at all.
How deep are we in? How far do we
I
get?
don't think you're supposed to say that one at all.
Okay. They do not ask permission, bad touch.
I think we replaced that word before with surprise butt sick. Well, I think that one's wrong too, though. I don't think we could. Anyway,
uncooperative coitus happens in the CW storyboard room. You know, that's what it is. Questionable.
So let's go
contact.
back to this. I'll throw this on the screen to sort of keep us on track. But yeah,
good
no.
luck. You said surprise butt sex.
I did. I know I did. I didn't.
You know what? This is shut up. Bloodaxe, you're the grown up apparently today. What you got for us?
I don't know what's up with all the sodomy talk, but I'll tell you what though. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're right. I think putting Babylon, which is a very, very popular sci-fi series, on the CW is a bad move. The CW is known more for young adult, and I don't even have CW when I had cable, much less and access to it if I wanted to watch it. The person we actually should have on to talk about is Jarek.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not on today, but he would have a very strong opinion about what's going on with Babylon. It's not a show that I've actually paid a lot of attention to, even though I do like sci-fi. It's just one of the ones I never watched. But my understanding is that one is a pretty good one. But dragging your feet, that normally means something's wrong with production, whether it's creative differences, actors acting a fool. But
well, at this point, I mean, it has nothing to do with the production. It has to do with, I mean, they've produced the pilot. They have to get a decision before they produce more. So
we'll get the pilot out, let people watch it and see what they think.
And
put it on YouTube as well, because the CW ain't gonna cut it.
Maybe the reason that it didn't get picked up by the CW is what it was good. I mean, I'm not even trying to be mean, but from what we know, the CW's priority is not quality.
Yeah.
So if it was really good, but it also it wasn't for a modern audience. There we go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
We're going to remember to use that. For a modern audience, then they may have showed it because they said, yeah, we don't care. It doesn't tell the story we're trying to tell. Like Gotham Knights is trying and failing, because this is a formula that fails over and over. And yet the CW keeps throwing money at it because apparently they believe that it's gonna, they apparently believe in the concept of if you keep trying, it'll eventually stick. And I'm like, not with poop. No matter how many times you bring a poop sandwich to somebody, they're not gonna eat it. Like, that isn't how that works. But they seem to think that they can just keep tossing out that style of show. Like, you know what? I don't care about spoilers. I don't care. But I'll give you a warning. Gotham Knight spoilers. Already, even though they kill Batman immediately in episode 1, already they had to say, oh, but he murdered the Joker. Because they're running CW things. They always say that their Batman committed murder. That's just a thing they can't stop doing. They're stuck on it. And it didn't go over well in Batwoman, so you would think they dropped that. No, they brought it back again. They brought it back again. They killed Bruce Wayne, blatantly kill him, like just shot and thrown out a window like a punk. He got the Aiden treatment. He got the Dying Light 2 Bloodaxe. He got the Aiden. He got cutscene, man. He got cutscene punked. Man, Aiden got punched in the mouth every cutscene. But he basically got he gets punked, and then all the characters are new. Like, they don't use Damian, they don't use Barbara Gordon, they don't have James Gordon. Yeah, Commissioner Gordon, not there. So it's not even Batman. It's just not. The only character that they immediately just threw it all out the window. And that didn't work in Batwoman. We know it didn't, but they're doing it again.
Yeah. I don't think they care, man. I'll be honest. I don't think
do you
care.
Want them to have, to get back on point, so do you want them to have Bab 5? They killed Sheridan immediately.
Well, dude, I was the one that brought up.
I know. I'm just saying. Okay, well, I'm talking to y'all out there. Yeah. You didn't want him. This is a good thing because Sheridan would have got thrown out of airlock.
But I hope we can they find some place to put it because that would. Oh well, if it's good, I would like to see it, and I hope it's good. Once again, there's so little we know about this reboot, though. That's the other problem with this reboot is, I mean, we don't know a lot about it.
But I hate to say it, the most trustworthy service out there, and this is gonna sound crazy. But you got to think about the fact that at least they let people do their thing. It's probably Netflix. Because if it was somebody that would let them do it their way and not screw with it, Netflix has a hands-off policy.
Honestly, I think it would be great. I think it'd be great on just do it on streaming. Just do it on HBO, man. Do it on HBO. That way you can also.
What's HBO's track record?
I mean, HBO has Game of Thrones, and there's been several decent. But, I mean, HBO isn't doing it. They just be putting it out there.
True. HBO's hands-off, too. They're kind of hands-off.
Yeah. And my thing is that also allows you to – I mean, we haven't seen a really good space opera, type thing that has that ability to be adult.
But and the Skywalker trilogy, the end of the Skywalker trilogy.
That has the ability to be – R or B, sort of hit that edge.
Now that is true. We don't have one that's mature. It might be interesting to see but not that cringy version, actual quality edge.
Just not have to be afraid if something would hit the screen that may not be for all audiences, So that would sort of be cool. I mean, it was one of the things Mass Effect got away with. Mass Effect was able to, as a video game, go places that we hadn't had a lot of sci-fi at that point go. Think about that with Babylon 5. I think it would be cool. But anyway, let's move on. And next up, we have Shazam's in the theater, man. Shazam! So, I mean, I don't know, man. I haven't seen this yet, so this is a non-spoiler and no real info other than numbers. And that is Shazam's not doing so well in the box office.
You want to know how bad it is?
So Shazam! Fury of the Gods doesn't fly with moviegoers at only $30 million on opening.
I think it cost $300 million to make.
Yeah,
that's bad.
It says Shazam! Fury of the Gods hit tracking 4 weeks ago with a low $35 million projection. It was shocking and not shocking to rival distributors. Anyway, so basically not doing so well. I'll be honest, dude. I actually had high hopes for Shazam 2. The first Shazam was a surprise to me. And it also I don't think, did well in theaters. The first Shazam wasn't that bad. I was shocked when I watched it. So now I will say it's not doing horrible on IMDb at a 6.7. And 53 critic, 87% user on Rotten Tomatoes, though we all know not to really trust Rotten Tomatoes, though it's not Disney, so they're probably not pulling as many strings behind the scenes.
True.
But usually I think IMDb tends to be the more.
To give you an idea how bad this movie is hitting its demographic, my boys are 13 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
A little while ago, they said, let's go to movies. I said, we're doing next weekend. They want to go see Creed. They don't want to see this. They want to go see Creed. They're 13 and 14, and they'd rather see Creed than Shazam. And they like superhero movies.
At least they have days.
Because they loved Into the Spider-Verse. They love superhero movies. They asked to go see a boxing movie. That says a lot to me. That they were like, hey, we should go see Creed. I was like, isn't there something for... And I couldn't remember, because that's how bad Shazam was. I couldn't even remember what the movie... I'm like, there's something else.
Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised with the first one. Yes, it was young. It was kiddie. But I watched it, and it wasn't that bad.
I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it's not doing well. DC's bombing.
Yeah, so as far as the second one, like I said, Ratings aren't horrible, but they're not great, obviously.
Do you think it's because of Black Adam? I think it kind of gave DC a black eye, and then with Shazam technically being related to that, those are technically the characters in the same universe.
Yeah.
I wonder if some of that stank off of Black Adam rolled over to Shazam.
Well, we'll say, I mean, the trailers weren't really that appealing for Shazam 2 either. They didn't really give you that good umph, which honestly, first one didn't either. It had funnier moments and some better scenes that would have been better to highlight in the trailer. So it also could be just a bad marketing team.
But an origin story is a lot easier to land, though, because it's your first time with the character.
True.
But on that second one, you no longer have that new appeal, so you got to stand on writing, story. You got to pull it off now, and you don't have that fresh curiosity. Because you don't know enough about Shazam before you saw that movie. I only remembered a little bit of it. So you're really curious how they're going to tell this story.
Well, I mean, they've gone away from the comics anyway, because, I mean, this one, it's all about family. As a trailer.
Family.
It's family. It's about family. So
that'll be a crossover I'd go see. If they do a Fast and Furious Shazam crossover, I'll go see it. Bloodaxe, what do you think? You have kids. A lot of them.
I have kids, and they've said nothing about Shazam. They haven't said anything about any movies, to be honest with you. They're too busy playing their Oculuses. But yes, I know the first Shazam was very popular. I didn't see it. I'm not real big into DC unless it's Batman. I will watch Batman as long as it's not Ben Affleck. But the fact that it's doing so poorly, I mean, we were talking about.
All right, hold up. I gotta give some cred to Ben Affleck on the fact that I hate Ben Affleck, but he was a better Batman than Robert Peterson. Or Patterson, or whatever his name is.
I'm a better
Batman. I'll be a
than
better
Robert Patterson. Bloodaxe is a better Batman than Robert Patterson.
I'll be out there with my broken knees and my messed up shoulder, and I will still do a better job.
Hey, you pick a great over the hill.
So all I'm saying is, maybe we should lay off of Ben Affleck a bit, and talk about the real crime. I mean, if we're going to use it as a reference of bad Batmans, we've got a better reference.
Yeah, we were talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they did three digits. They did over 100 million opening weekend. So the fact that did 3 times what Shazam 2 did just shows you that people aren't really interested. Now, it may get some traction from word of mouth, and it may pick up, but if they spent 300 million on it, they're going to have to make over 600 million just to make their money back.
Well, see, I don't know if that's the exact figure, but there's something you need to know. The reason I know the movie's expensive, because they showed it in the trailer, so this is not a spoiler. They've got Momoa and Gal Gadot in it. You know they're not cheap. So it couldn't have been a cheap movie if they had a cameo from Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa. So it probably was a pretty expensive movie to make. And 30 million is... As my boys would say, dog water. It's trash.
No, the budget was 125 million according to Wikipedia. So they would have to make close to 250, 300 million to make the money back. So
that's where the 300 came from. Well, don't forget, often that budget they post doesn't include advertisement and all that. It's just the actual budget of making a movie. So you usually can add some numbers to that.
Right. You have the advertisement, but the theaters also get a cut, so that's why we reckon about 300 million just to break even. And at 30 million, you're probably going to have a drop off next week of about 40-50%, unless, like I said, the word of mouth picks up and Q goes and sees. He goes, "What? Actually, you gotta go see this movie, man. It's hardcore." I'm like, okay,
I'll tell you that about Creed.
Yeah, well, let me know how Creed is. I haven't seen I usually watch all the Rocky films, but the Creed ones have kind of slipped by me. But I heard they're excellent, though.
I've actually heard this one's really good from the boys, and I trust them. They've never led me wrong when they pick a movie. So I'm not a big boxing movie fan. I used to watch the Rockies, but as I got older, I don't watch them as much, but I might be surprised. Plus, I mean, I love a good fight. But like you say, that's the thing about this that got me is that 30 million. What do we actually remember on Dicejunkies? We verified this by watching several movies. That I think it was Zeno that corrected me that a 40% drop off is normal. That's not even I thought it was big on one movie. I thought it meant a movie was failing. He said, no, 40% is the normal drop-off level. So if you think that they only got 1/10 of what they needed, minimum, if we go with only, like you said, going off that part of the budget they talked about and a little bit more, there's no way that over the next few weeks, because I don't even think a movie runs for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So they maintain this, they can't break even.
Now, we'll say the other thing we do need to, you'd want to look at too, is what level of release this was. Was it an international release? Because I know a lot of that has to do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that 30 million is domestic, because when I'm looking at Wikipedia, the current box office is 65.5 million. So that may just be the domestic gross, and that might not include the international market.
Did you check for us while we go next topic?
Yeah. I mean, I can look at this to see. Let's see what they say here in this article real quick. They're not really mentioning it. I mean, it's one of those things where I think the article is directed to say this thing bombed without giving enough details. Yeah, here we go. Which are seeing record. So they did mention domestic when comparing it to something. So
they mentioned domestic when comparing it, yeah, but they don't really say.
According to this, in the box office between the United States and Canada,
domestic,
35 million, and 35 million came from the rest of the international market. So 30 million just came from the United States.
Yeah,
and
so
Canada.
65 million is,
which missed its 85 million projection, which means they were almost 20 million short of their projected global.
Short. Yeah,
and so like you said, you get that normal
33%.
Yeah, you get that normal 40% drop off. That means next weekend is only going to be at about 40, and then it's just gone downhill from there. They're not going to get that 300 million to reimburse themselves.
I'll be under 40. Yeah, no, about 40. You're right. Yeah. And the thing is, like you said, and the thing is, that's 300 million to break even.
Yeah,
a movie is not. I don't know why these bad movies lately, people will go, they broke even. That's not a win.
No,
you want to make double what you made. You want to profit. So if you break even, all you've done is you didn't humiliate yourself. Heck, if you break even, you can't write it off. So it's not always a good thing. There's a reason U-Bowl makes true stinkers, because to write the movie off, you know what I'm saying, Bloodaxe? And to write it off, you need to not make money.
I don't know what the legitimacy of that claim is. So
what about U-Bowl?
Yeah,
no, U-Bowl makes terrible movies.
I know he makes terrible movies. I'm not talking about the legitimacy of that claim.
But I believe you can't write it off if it makes a profit. I think it does have to not make money. I could be wrong. So sometimes making profit but not enough isn't good for a movie.
Yeah. All right. You got any other TV related things?
Willow got canceled.
Yeah, Willow got canceled.
I mean,
that happened a while back though. That's not new. I saw that I think a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but we ain't talking about it until today, so we're catching up.
Because I really didn't want to talk about
it. I mean, I talked about on the show about how the show was really bad, and it was.
You have something on here about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle trailer.
I pulled it up while I talk about Willow. Just a short FYI, as you know, at one point I covered Willow, that the Willow reboot was terrible. They humiliated Warwick Davis. They gave him the Jake Skywalker treatment, which is, not my Luke Skywalker. They did that to Willow, and it got canceled. So one of the things we were talking about before the show is that they were saying, man, it's all bad news. And I go, is it bad news when we told them we didn't want it, they did it anyway, and it gets canceled? To me, I actually think that that's a good thing. I think it's good that they're starting to see that we're not being jerks. We're trying to advise you to stop wasting your money. Before they made the show, we said, don't do the stuff you're saying you want to do. That's a bad idea. Then they did. Entertainment. And they're losing money. So I want to see them stop throwing money in the trash can. Because that's good money that could have been used to give us a genuine sequel, right? Because now we're not going to get a Willow sequel because the money that was for that sequel got wasted, and it's in the hands of people who don't want to do it right. They're not going to sell it. You know how bad they are about not releasing licenses, right, Bloodaxe? I mean, tell me if I'm barking up the wrong tree here.
No, you're not. And Willow is part of the Lucasfilm library, so that means this would be a KK project. And it doesn't surprise me that they went the direction they did with the Willow series. The only way that I actually would be interested in watching a Willow sequel is if somehow Val Kilmer was returning back as Mad Mardigan, but because of his health issues, he's not able to do it. And I don't have enough for Warwick Davis to say, "Hey, I want to watch this." But when I heard what the story was about, and that Willow wasn't even the star of his own show, I completely tuned out, and it sounds like everybody else did too.
Oh no, he's an old loser.
So,
they dog him out. They prove him wrong at every turn.
Yeah.
They give him the same treatment they give all legacy characters. The negativity you expected, where a young, fresh face, woman has to put him in his place constantly. I'm not exaggerating. So it's not something you want to see.
Between
It's like
Willow
watching
and
the
Star
CW
Wars
show.
and
Yeah.
stuff going on with Indiana Jones, you need to lease out these properties to be able to let someone who actually understands and respects the source material to make good quality content. The only one that's doing anything quality wise is John Favreau, and I'm not even interested in Mandalorian season 3, which is going on right now. I haven't watched any of it because I'm just not interested in anything that Disney is putting out, and it's not me being harsh versus Disney, but it's just not entertainment. I would rather go back and I've been watching Voyager, which is 20 years old. I've been watching it, and I've been perfectly entertained watching Voyager. So I'm not interested in what they're putting out on Disney because they have an agenda, and I'm not their target audience.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find what you're looking for, Q, on this Ninja Turtles thing, so I'm just going to let you tell me about it. We talked about that last week. Is that what we're talking about? The April O'Neil design from last
Turtles
week?
is terrible. The turtles are awful looking.
So are we just
I
doing
don't
a
know
repeat?
what
that
they
one
talk.
again?
Yeah, that was one of the few things we were able to talk about before we lost internet.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Well, then we didn't talk about it last week, did we?
No, I said it was one of the few things we were able to talk about before. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know it got out.
Okay.
We had technical trouble, so I thought the topic didn't get out. So
Gotcha.
basically the same thing. Well, no, I mean the update is that Seth Rogen is claiming anti-Semitism if you don't like his Turtles show, which I found particularly ironic. A guy who constantly portrays black people in a terrible light in all his shows is trying to throw out the race card. That was amusing.
Yeah.
Because in Santa Inc., he turned us into reindeer, the things that have to pull Santa's sleigh. And he made the female character a sassy slut, and he made the male character a thug talker, like, yo, man, I'm Rudolph, you know what I mean? So it's like, this guy don't need to play the race card. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's done to play the race card. I don't have any problem with his movies, man. They're
Just
bad.
his last couple.
They're the bad humor. It's not my style. It's not something I enjoy. But hey, I believe everybody should be able to be creative and do their thing. And I
Do
think
your
the
thing.
box office
do
should
your
show
thing,
that.
but don't
No,
get
I'm not
mad
saying he
when I
shouldn't
don't like
make
your
it,
stuff.
Just
But
don't
yeah.
get mad. Don't.
And don't call you names because you don't like something.
Yeah, there you go. It's like, call somebody an a-hole. Call somebody a lot of things. But there's no reason to throw out that card for people don't like your design. Because, I mean, the animation they're trying to imitate, to talk about being more realistic, they're trying to imitate the Into the Spider-Verse animation.
Yeah.
Like Bloodaxe said, he's seen a trailer. The animation, not as good. It looks choppy. It looks low quality by comparison.
Now, a lot of people have compared it to Into the Spider-Verse as animation. I didn't see it nearly as much as what people were talking about. I don't think it's nearly as good an animation.
Oh, no, it's not. It's terrible. And look at that. Even the art style, that does not look as good. It looks like stop motion to me, and closer to dang near stop. That is a horrible design. Yeah, they gave Splinter an afro.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the design here for Splinter.
I didn't see that.
None of this artwork looks that good. You're not wrong. Like, it doesn't look nearly as stylized as Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse was imitating tagging artwork, urban artwork that you see on the wall spray painted. That was a part of the whole thing. That's why you saw Miles Morales tagging a wall in there. That was a part of his expression. The art style was meant to evoke that. This is just imitating that poorly with not very good looking characters. Now, does that mean it's going to be bad? No, it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad because it's Seth Rogen. because Seth Rogen doesn't make good things. It's not going to be bad because of the artwork alone. The artists are probably doing their best, but
I mean, maybe this would be like most of his other movies, and if you get stoned enough, it'll be good.
but I think it's aimed at kids.
The last thing Seth Rogen did that I liked was 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Mhm.
Nothing good since then.
Yeah.
I've liked a few of his bad comedy movies, but like starting from like Sausage Party up to Santa Inc. and on, I really didn't like it.
Was horrible.
I was not a fan. And my thing is that I'm not even trying to be mean to Seth Rogen and say he's just a terrible director. I'm saying he doesn't do kid friendly. I mean, his Santa Inc. was horrible. It was not kid friendly. I don't think he's going to be able to do kid friendly, but you heard those voices. This is for young kids. Those turtles sound like they got a bunch of 10-year-olds to voice them. It's clearly aimed at a much younger crowd, and he doesn't do kid friendly.
I'm not a fan of the aging down the turtle personality.
I mean, if it was a prequel, but they called them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, why don't you do a prequel? Why don't you do them as actual kids?
Yeah.
Before they met April O'Neil.
All right, let's move on.
I mean, go watch the Nickelodeon. It's better.
It's all depressing. Let's see. What else do you have on here? Symbiote Genesis NFT game for Square Enix.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that.
Disney releases a real lightsaber.
They claim they made a real lightsaber. I mean, pull it up. Disney made a real lightsaber and debuted it. It did not go over well. It's supposed to be a real lightsaber. To me, it didn't. I mean, I don't think it cuts anything, but it did not. They're doing anything to try to get attention going. And most people thought that the hilt was too clunky. They didn't want to buy it. It's not even for sale. You can only play with it if you go to their special vacation, like the hotel. So that's the only way you can get access to it. But it didn't go over well. Also, of course, they're not selling. Every model they have, the one they're not selling is Luke Skywalker's because you're not allowed. He's been canceled, I guess. I don't know. But everybody was saying that you can get Rey's and you can even get Darth Vader's. You can get what was weird looking face guy? Darth, whatever he was.
Darth Maul.
Huh?
Darth Maul.
No, not cool. No, the dumb one that was supposed to be Rey's boyfriend. Not Ben Solo.
Adam
Driver.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren, you can get his lightsaber, but you can't get Luke Skywalker's. But yeah, this is supposed to be quote a real lightsaber.
Well, I mean, you don't. I'm not seeing a head on it, so that's sort of cool.
Yeah.
That it actually.
But I want to see someone else get their hands on it to really see how that works. I want to know what's the trick.
Yeah.
Because nobody's got their hands on it. But most people were like, that looks cool, but I don't think it's going to get people going. Like, basically, they thought they were going to wow everybody, and most people criticized it because Disney's reputation is that bad right now. Most people were like, screw it. And you can only play with it if you go to the hotel, which makes me trust it even less that it's probably just extending. It makes me wonder. In fact, looking at it, that looks like that's probably extending out from the hilt. That's just probably a tube. I don't believe that's actually light. I believe that's a tube extending. I trust Disney about as far as I trust Tencent. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that's a tube. Because look at the end of it. See the tip? That's a tube extending out. Maybe it might be that it's a bag that fluid fills up, like neon fluid.
I know, it could be that, yeah.
It could be a bag that fills up and comes out like a balloon that's blowing up and filling with the liquid. Because look at the tip. Doesn't that look like that's a liquid inside that tube? It almost looks like that's a liquid when you zoomed in on the tip. So it's not a real lightsaber. It's just a better lightsaber than the ones they've had. And that's about it.
Yeah. It doesn't have to have the non-lit end sticking out.
Yeah, it actually comes out of the hilt, and it isn't the one where you got to do that and a little plastic.
Yeah.
So I mean, it bombed. It flopped. It didn't get the appeal they wanted. So I just like to mock Disney's failures, but also just to trigger like Bloodaxe, I had to point out that you can't get the Luke Skywalker hilt.
Well, no, that's. I mean, it'll eventually come out, and if it's depending on the price point. Would gauge my interest in it because as most of the people that are watching know, I'm part of the Rebel Legion and 501st. I'm doing a Dooku, and if I could get a Count Dooku saber that does the same thing, to where I can have it on my hilt, on my side, and then pull it out and light it up, and it didn't look stupid, I would be interested in it. But I guarantee you the price is probably going to be at least 500 or more. And it's going to be limited to the new gen. So trying to get some of the older ones might be a bit of a challenge unless Hasbro or whoever does the Black Series gets involved with it. But I would love to be able to see the mechanics of it and how it actually works, to see if it looks realistic or is it trashy. Because it looks like a tube on the very tip. It's not rounded; it's squared off.
I don't
So I'm
think you
kind
see
of
them swinging
curious how
around
this
either.
works.
Because if it's a
Yeah.
bag, it would bend if they swung it too hard. So that might be why you don't seem to see a lot of like fast sword play with it. Because
He
it
said this time around Disney's now seemed more relaxed and able to swing it about
oh, he did.
and
Okay.
turn it off and on multiple times. So it appears the tech, which is inspired by tape measures,
I was right.
has reached a point where everyone involved seems confident that it won't all fall apart if somebody sneezes at it.
You know what? He was
So-
swinging it, but put it in the hand of a kid and see how long it lasts. I
Well,
wanna
yeah.
see what happens when you hand it to
But
like,
dude,
a
I mean,
10-year-old.
hand one of those glass tubes to a kid, it's not gonna last either, dude.
Oh,
They're
I
not.
know.
They're not designed for kids.
Yeah, I don't know if it survived your swings, though, if you gave it to you.
But
But yeah, so it's designed around a tape measure. So I may have called it. It definitely was extending. My question is it a bag? 'Cause that's what I'm thinking. I think it's a type of bag.
It looks like a
filled up.
tube. It looks like a tube when you zoom in on it at the
Yeah.
very tip.
Well, I mean, you can have a shaped bag that only fills up in the shape of a tube.
Yeah, but the way it's squared off, it looks like a some kind of plastic extension tube to me.
I just
Yeah.
want to know if it's filled with. No, it can't be filled with enough liquid. Well, I don't know. The hilt is really big. It could be filled. It could be a neon liquid that's flowing.
maybe or something else. Who
Stored
knows?
in the hilt, though. I don't think you can store all that in the hilt along with the mechanics to light it up and make sounds.
I mean, it's pretty impressive they got it down to at least that size, but it is pretty big. Like we were
I
talking
mean,
about.
it could
how big the
it could
hilt was.
it could have some. It could be like an OLED. There's foldable screens and stuff. If it's made out of some kind of material like that,
Okay. That's
where
good.
then all you have to do is because it's foldable, so it could extract, and then you just have some wires in there to
wires, that light up. That makes sense.
to send the power through to turn on those OLEDs.
What would the battery
but-
life is on it?
Or
But-
not OLED, but it's the it's the organic liquid. Anyway,
But this is literally why I brought it up, is because notice our very muted, mild curiosity.
Yeah.
That's how bad Disney's messed up Star Wars. Had this happened back when we still love Star Wars, we'd be way more interested in it. But instead, there's just a muted curiosity about the tech. And that's kind of what happened. So Disney has damaged this franchise so bad that they made what is the best looking lightsaber I've seen. And people's reactions kind of like, oh. And that's like how far it went. And I'm just like, man, 5 years ago, got 10 years ago,
Yeah.
but 5 years ago.
all right. Well,
10
they're
years
talking
ago-
about. Well, we'll move on from this. They're talking about Dead Island 2 in the chat room, and we have an article on that. So let's talk about some Dead Island. This came from PC Gamer, and this actually hurt me a bit to read about. So Dead Island 2's zombie fights quickly wear out their welcome, and it's a short, linear story and has little else to offer. So apparently the game only takes about 15 hours to go through the full campaign. And they said maybe up to 20 if you're doing every side quest, everything,
Man, that is pretty short. That's only a few evenings.
So
for my style of play.
they say that the maps are actually very linear. It's not very open. They do things to make it appear open, but it's really just roadways
that's not
and
what you
stuff.
want from Dead Island. That's
Yeah.
the whole point of Dead Island, is being able to search the whole.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like that.
And so
Me
they're-
neither. So I'm thinking about taking my pre-order for Dead Island 2 and switching it to Diablo 4 instead, because the way this is describing the way this is going to play, It's not Dead Island if that's how they're going to set it up. Dead Island's not linear. It's open world. You discover all the skulls, make new recipes and stuff. But if it's 15 to 20 hours, me and Q can blow through that in 2 days.
We really can. I
And be
mean, we
done
do
with
like
it.
6
And
to
that's-
8 hour sessions easy. Like that won't
and
stand
that's
up to
not
us.
that's not worth $100 to me. It's not, because I ordered the big package. So I'm gonna go to GameStop and I'm gonna switch it to Diablo 4. Because I'll wait until this price drops. I will play it, but it's not gonna be full price. Not for me.
Well, we got good Game Pass prospects coming up too, so it looks like we're better off sitting on Game Pass until Diablo 4 comes out. Just grab Redfall, you know, and they put out that Guilty Gear fighting game if we want to mess around with that with Jarek. I saw that that's on Game Pass. We can load that up or play it from cloud. Actually, I've been playing Wolong from cloud. It plays smooth. I was surprised. It played really good for people that have the S instead of the X. The cloud gaming, I don't have any reaction trouble. It plays smooth. I want to say that a whole new dimension's been opened up to me. That if the game's not too big, playing it on cloud gaming seems like a really viable tactic.
What's said here is the game sticks close to the formula of the original. You play a hardy survivor, blah, 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 and have to battle your way through the hordes. It's fully playable in co-op through my single player only. I think what expresses a lot of people is that Dead Island is not an open world. It's a linear adventure. Though you do travel back and forth through LA, the game's version of the city is basically a corridor of zones separated by loading screens full of roads and lanes that make the area look bigger but are actually blocked off. And it doesn't seem particularly long. The first
fake road.
The first third of the game that he was allowed to play only took 5 hours, which suggests a full playthrough to be about 15.
Yeah, I mean, unless, like you said, it gets a massive growth to the last 2/3, which isn't how fractions work.
Yeah.
You know, and it was the real first third of the game. Plus, he says 5 hours, and I'm assuming since he was playtesting, he was taking his time.
Yeah.
God knows how much I grind and search. I don't know how I couldn't beat that game in a couple of evenings. If we're not careful, by the time Bloodaxe get off from work, I may be done with that game. Like, man, I got something to do with my kids tonight. Let's play tomorrow. All right. He sees my character walk around with the in-game gear, and I'm like, it's a short game.
And I mean, if you and if everything this dude says is believable, from what it reads, he claims he was very excited about the game, looking forward to it. So usually you even bend the review more in its favor when you're excited about something because it hits that.
Well, I ignored his claim he gets tired of fighting zombies because I'm a grinder. We all know this. I don't get tired of grinding.
No, the zombie fights isn't what concerns me. It's the short duration and the linear aspect, because Dead Island was so wide open. We would play for 30, 40, 50 hours put in, and then find a new skull that we didn't know that existed before.
Bloodaxe,
Somewhere on this.
We spent 20 hours on the first map. We spent 20 hours at the hotel, riding around in a truck and searching, remember? We spent 20 hours before we got to the city. We were just at the resort part of the game, 20 hours at least. I know we spent 20 hours going through that. Like you said, finding new stuff.
We were killing zombies because it was fun to kill zombies. So, yeah, I don't find that an issue. Because when you get swarmed and you end up fighting your way out of it, you feel like you accomplished something. Because they were scary. Those zombies were coming at you were hardcore.
Hey, dude, how long did we spend trying to get on top of that gas station? We spent probably 2 or 3 hours just trying to get on top of gas. Hey, there was something up there. Mm-hmm. I think it was a skull. There was something up there. But we spent a huge amount of time. How many times did you
pick me up? Because I couldn't get up there.
You kept falling. Then I had to come down to pick him up. Then I'd get back up. Then he'd fall down.
Yeah.
But no, like... No,
you know what? I want to go get Dead Island and play it again. See if it's been updated any.
If they did a remake of it, I'd play it with you, buddy. If they do it, you know what? There's a game that if they did even just a nice graphics update, I'd play it again. Sam B would return. It'd be time to start punching zombies.
and here comes Logan.
Yeah. All right. It looks like the chat room's moved on to Diablo 4 talk, so we will too.
Servers couldn't take it.
Yeah, well, you didn't even play it, man.
I've heard. I
know.
know. The servers wouldn't let me on if I tried.
Yeah.
98-minute wait. Screw you.
Yeah, no. When I got home from work Friday, I got on and it was a 80 some odd. It claimed to be an 89-minute wait. I will say I don't think it was an actual 89-minute wait. It ended up being more to the point of 30 or 40 minutes.
Oh, well, that's still too damn long.
Which only happened Friday. The next day, the wait times were better, and today they were non-existent. So,
did you have any crashes? Because Angry Joe's crashed several times when he was playing it.
I did not have any crashes. I did have a couple of server disconnects.
You also were playing by yourself, though, and he was playing with 2 other people.
Yes and no. And this is where I want to get into this. All right. So Diablo is forced multiplayer. You play single player when you enter a dungeon or with your friends, whoever your group is, when you enter dungeons. But when you're in the open world exploring, there are usually at least 15 other people in that zone. Or 14 other people in the zone. It seemed to be that if you looked at the zone, it did tend to cap out around 15. I know when there was a world boss and people came running to the zone when I zoned in each time, it was only 15 people, I think, in the group.
That's a good idea. More than that's a bit much.
But so it's a multi-layered, similar to how some of the newer MMOs do, where they don't allow more than so many people on a map and they create another layer and multi-dimension, but
good for keeping it under control.
But anyway, so the open world is loaded with other people. The city has people running around in the city with you. Being that generally with the Diablo story, you are the lone barbarian or the lone, which I don't think they pushed that here in this one like they did in the past, but it is a little weird to have random people. And the areas that had multiple people, I had a lot of lag issues. So server issues was definitely a big problem with this early beta, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I wish I could just turn it off and go, I don't want to see other people.
Our boy Zeno is the most antisocial player, boy. He I don't want you in my
man,
Diablo.
I don't care about those people. I don't know them, Now, if I could turn it to just friends only, where only friends show up in the same, that would be amazing to me. I'd be fine with that.
See my boy Will or Lori.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Just have. But with the way it's set up, and there's people running around, and especially if you find some kind of big boss on the thing, and you want to challenge yourself, and then all of a sudden, a herd of 10 people run through and help you clear it. That's a little annoying.
Well, that'll mess up overworld farming. If you're trying to farm a particular creature or item, it's hard when other people are there killing it. I used to hate that in MMOs.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, as far as spawns go, that didn't seem to be a big issue. Everything keeps respawning. It seemed, I don't know how they're doing it. Like the way the events and the spawns go, it never seemed like things were cleared out as I was going through. So, like I said, I'm not exactly sure how that's done.
You know what? I'm going to defend you, because while I tease you about antisocial, Diablo's a gothic horror. What does seem like it'd be weird for it to feel heavily populated. Mm-hmm. Now, I know people going to look at me crazy because Diablo 1 and 2 had those towns full of people. But see, I came along in Diablo 3. I didn't play Diablo 1 and 2. I watched my boy Flynn play Diablo 1
and 2 towns weren't fully populated. They had less people than Diablo 3's towns.
Oh, I thought there were players running around online and when you were playing Diablo 1 and 2 in the town.
Only if you had on max of 4, and it was only people you invited or joined with.
Oh, then it goes with the way Diablo 3 works. Hey, look, I don't know. I didn't play them. I said that. I don't know. But like Diablo 3 had that, like you said, that isolated horror feel because there's a couple of scared villagers. Man, you got like people running around on tigers and with glowing wings all over the place. You're kind of gonna go like, I think we got this covered.
Yeah,
It seems
and that's
like
the
we
thing.
got
That's
this.
gonna be really weird once you get into the heavy transmogs and stuff like that.
So people are starting with it, dude, because they got the
Um,
pre-order packs. They got big old angel wings.
Yeah, but I mean, they sort of went the route of POE and then Path of Exile, and then upped it one more because Path of Exile you see other people when you're in town. This they did. Well, you see other people when you're in town and when you're not doing a quest and you're just in the open world. Now, if you're on one of your quest lines, it zones you into your own, or whoever your group is. If you go down into a dungeon, that's zoned to just your party or you.
As long as you hop from quest to quest, you can be mostly alone. It sounds like.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's where I think you're going to do most of your grinding is going to be just going into these dungeons, stuff like that, which you need to clear out anyway because they give you stats and abilities and stuff that also carry over to your other characters. So if I go and create a new character because I cleared all these dungeons, he'll have extra abilities and stuff like that.
Now for the beta, while what you're doing now will carry over to the second beta,
it will not carry over.
It will not carry over to the real game. So if you, for some reason, wanted to not try the new characters on your next beta, you could carry over this character. Or I guess you'll keep the altars too. But yeah, the beta carries over to the second beta. I didn't even touch it. Y'all know me. My temperament, when I found out they weren't letting me beta the Necromancer, I said F you. So I actively didn't touch it. I'm going to wait for next weekend.
Say, if you are a title hound or achievement hound, I did notice that some of the achievements I got while I was playing the game specifically mentioned you did this during the beta. So that means that those will be achievements that will be unique to people who played in the beta. Now all they do is give you titles, stuff like that. But
I might get some when I go, because next weekend I'm gonna go with the Necromancer, because we're not. CypherCon's actually not next week; it's the weekend after that. So I'll get in, and y'all. I'll come back and tell you guys what I think of the Necro. I think Bloodaxe is talking about touching up on the Druid, weren't you, Bloodaxe?
Oh yeah.
So and then Xeno will be able to second opinion, because knowing him, he'll try both. He's the hardest core. You see them Diablo bags under his eyes.
Yeah, no, I've.
Those are Diablo bags.
So the three characters that were open for this beta were the barbarian, the rogue, and the mage, sorcerer. I played the male version, so I'm gonna call it a mage.
It's sorcerer, not sorceress.
Yeah, I know. I like playing mages, damn it, and I'm just gonna call it a mage regardless of what it's called.
It's a wizard, Harry.
It's a wizard.
Because that's Xeno. That's my character I named Xeno. Was my sorcerer.
Trust me, if I wasn't so mad about the Necromancer, I made mages.
So we got a Necromancer, a wizard, and a druid. We need to see what Flynn's going to play, because he's got it on PC. We can have a 4-man team. Man, that would be badass.
Imagine in D&D if you had a Necromancer, a wizard, and a druid. That sounds like a 3-man party that could solo a quest line.
Yeah. But so I played the barbarian, and I played the sorcerer, and I played the rogue for a little bit. I leveled up my sorcerer to max level, and I've got my barbarian up to like I think 20. And I did do one of the world bosses. And I will say, look, I've actually looked and read some of what people's complaints. So some of the people complained that the skill tree was hard to understand. I didn't see it as being hard to understand. A lot of people complained about the if you count the number of skills, it's not as high when you count all the Diablo 3 alternatives. But I think they're missing part of the picture when they say that, because there's other elements outside the skill tree that Diablo 3 does not have.
Your build has a lot of different factors than just your skill tree. A lot.
So I will say, honestly, I think this is crunchier than Diablo 3, and the synergies that you can get by looking at all the different levels of abilities can be pretty badass. I will say the sorcerer I enjoyed, kicked ass, and I saw so many synergies. Like if I had more time, like I didn't level as much as I should have. I've been busy this weekend, but I also was busy looking at the numbers because Q looks at numbers on everything. But Diablo is my baby. I looked at this and I was reading through those things. I'm looking at this. I was like, oh man, I can do this. And so
what a little birdie told me, I got a feeling you may be carrying me because I heard the sorcerer's got some awesome possibilities, and if you really gonna put all in on it, then I may need you to get me to my master level necromancy. Like I might need a few levels. So I'll lean on Xeno and be like, yo, man, pull me along.
Yeah, I will say I enjoyed playing as Sorcerer. I enjoyed playing the Barbarian. They both have unique elements to them. With the weapon mastery for the Barbarian, I thought it was really cool. He has, multiple weapons, and depending on the skills are tied to weapons. I think it gives a nice aesthetic to the Barbarian and gives them something a little new. So I'm actually looking forward to this release still. Hopefully they get the network issues. My biggest complaints are the always on network being forced to play with other people. Sorry, it's not that I don't like you. I just don't like you. And the second is something minuscule. And that's some of the elements that they changed from this one, from the previous Diablos. And this is something I know a lot of people don't use. It's something I tended to use a lot, and that was the overlay map. The overlay map where you can transparency it and drop it over your screen. I had that thing always up.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, that's been around for multiple Diablos now. Apparently, they got rid of that. Now you have the corner map that's solid, and then you have to pull up the map to see the big map.
So there's no transparency map? There's ridiculous.
No transparency map.
I'm sitting here going like, I've never used that. It would distract me.
I always had it up. Always had it.
Oh, no, I understand. Y'all are the Diablo specialists, man. I'm cornering that map for life,
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna miss.
You were just following me around.
I will say they one of the things I thought, and it's so small, so tiny, but added a lot of value, and that was that all the characters had where you could hit the space key and sort of do a dodge, and that's something that Diablo didn't have unless it was an ability.
Diablo 3, it was the right stick, and it felt really clunky.
Yeah, it was really clunky.
Right, I'd rather have a button dodge.
Well, and on the keyboard, it's space. I don't know about it. But, I mean, the dodge was not something I ever really used too much in
I tried to, but in
Diablo 3. But the controls felt smoother to me. And I don't know. I don't even remember the dodge in Diablo 3. So...
It was terrible on a controller, I'll tell you that. I didn't bother with it. So it looks like we're getting pretty good. So we've got something to look forward to. Sounds like you're excited for the game. Unlike a certain other game that's just got off I was going to pre-order it. Now I'm going to let it go on sale. Because me and Bloodaxe will play it. Like, no, don't get us wrong. We will play it, but we're going to go ahead and let it stink up a bit. Yeah. Get about $30 or so knocked off of it. What do you think, Bloodaxe? I mean, if it's 15, 20 hours, I'd say... we can't pay more than 40 minimum. It's got to at least be 40 or under, right?
Right. It has to be like 40% off for me to be interested in it, or something that comes on Game Pass. But no, I'm really discouraged about Dead Island. I knew Diablo 4 was going to be good because all three Diablos before that were fun to play. So I'm really disappointed in what they're doing with Dead Island 2, and we've talked about this off the show. about it being set not on an island but in California and Los Angeles, and that just didn't. How can you be Dead Island when you're in California?
Well, no, how
That
can
doesn't
it
make any
not be
sense.
open world? I mean, that I expected
And not
I
make it
expected to
open
be
world. Yeah, that really bothers me that it's not open world and that it's so bloody short.
like Bloodaxe. Were
That's
you like
not
me?
a $60 game.
Were you like me? And I was hoping we'd find a mall. I really wanted to go running through a mall, man.
Maybe that's in the later thirds.
I really wanted to go running through a mall in the open world. I was looking forward to it, and I don't like the idea that it has, because when we saw the thing, I noticed when we watched the demos that you were going very linear. But I assumed, as did Bloodaxe, I'm assuming that you could turn off down any of these roads. We're now finding out, no, you can't. Those are all fake. They're blocked off. That was a big disappointment, because I just thought that the guy was doing like, this is a demo, I'm going to head one direction. Now we're finding out, no, that was the only option. Now, still could be a fun romp for 15 to 20 hours. Doesn't mean the game's bad. It just means the game's not $70. But hey, let's mention one last thing about Diablo 4. Looking at the chat, there's one thing we can all agree, though. Nobody's playing a rogue. Because I'm looking at everybody's like druid, sorcerer, necromancer.
No. Flynn does.
What? No, he mentioned he was looking at doing a sorcerer, necromancer, or demon hunter.
Well, Demon Hunter is rogue.
Demon Hunter is the rogue.
Okay, and hey, we may have a rogue.
I heard the rogue was really good. A lot of people were complaining about the barbarian being a little too
White
squishy.
ass.
But
he's supposed to be I thought he was supposed to be the tough guy.
Yeah. That was the only character I saw somebody complain about. Of course, I didn't find him that way. I will say it took me, I reset with my sorcerer. I picked a route from just reading, and I stuck with it all the way to level 25 before I played with the thing. Played with any of the other settings. With the barbarian, I did reset him about 3 times before I felt good with my picks.
Here's a question, but does the dodge have iframes? Because maybe that's why. Maybe they expect you to use a dodge more, and that's why he's less flat tanky. Because they expect you to be using a dodge with iframes to minimize.
No, the dodge isn't that available. It's a one-time hit, and then it has a cooldown.
Yeah, but does it have iframes?
I'm
can you
not
dodge through a hit and it won't land?
No, you have to actually
exit the entire area. Oh, okay. But I don't know why then they'd be so
that there's no invulnerability frames.
Yeah, because iframe dodges usually are when they'll do that, because they'll go like, well, we're expecting you to dodge.
Sorry,
30,
iframe
40.
throws me because iframe is an actual web development.
Okay.
And that's why it always throws me when you say iframes, because like I deal with iframes at work.
but I'm not using that's not a made up word for me. In the gaming community, when referring to dodges, they call them iframes.
Oh, I get it. Invulnerability frames is a bit of a stretch, but it always throws me every time you say iframes, because I'm thinking like, you mean like the window inside of a window in a web browser?
Well, that's what I made sure to fix somebody. Does the dodge roll have it? But if the dodge roll doesn't have frames of invulnerability, I don't know why they would lower the durability. Yeah. I understand that they had that because they'd assume that you're going to be reducing 20-30% of the damage by dodging, at least on occasion.
But
so if that's not a balancing thing, then they may need to beef it up. But also, could just be nobody's figured out his buff build.
Well, and like I said, dude, after I modified a few of his things, I didn't have as much problem with it. I did enjoy the dual wielding abilities more so than the.
But you didn't have no trouble with the sorcerer, did you?
I had no trouble whatsoever with the sorcerer.
I'm gonna need you to help my necromancer. I haven't heard any big flattery on the necromancer. I'm getting scared. I'm really hoping I'm gonna hear some good news. But nobody said, man, the necromancer's really powerful. Instead, they're like, man, the sorcerer and the rogue. I'm like, what about the necromancer? Like, man, the sorcerer and the rogue. And I'm like, ooh.
The sorcerer has a lot of survivability skills, and as well as a lot of power buffing skills.
Nice.
So, I mean, he has power and defense. It's hard to beat that.
I'm not abandoning my undead.
He has power, defense, and range.
I'm going to stay true to my undead. I don't care. I'm staying true to my necromancy.
I got you.
One love. One love, necromancy.
They did steal some of the abilities of the sorcerer from the mage in World of Warcraft. I will say that was another complaint I heard because it's got blizzard and ice block, and they're very reminiscent to. But I played a mage in World of Warcraft, so that didn't bother me one bit.
You're like, hey, look.
Also, let's just be honest. It's IP they own, and they can't get in trouble.
Yeah, you
for.
Can't really steal for yourself.
When you're coming up with new ideas and trying to build using IP you own is a great thing.
Yeah. Hey, you know a good spell? What? That one that we made that went over really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. People like that spell. Get it? We own them suckers. What are they gonna do?
Yeah. So I that didn't bother me. Like I said, I thought the game was fun. The biggest issue is there's always online, and I will be annoyed if I'm playing and I'm constantly getting booted from server. You know, I mean that will
Especially if you're solo playing.
I'll be honest. If I get booted from server one time, I get annoyed. So that's going to be the biggest hurdle for them is to keep the game going without a lot of issues.
Well, it does depend on how much progress I lose now. Yeah.
You don't lose any progress really unless you're doing a dungeon and then you have to start that dungeon over. Now you got all your items as you got from it. You got your experience. I mean, it is constantly saving. I did not lose any progress any of the times I was dropped.
Because you know me and Monster Hunter Rise, that time I kept losing hours of progress.
Now I did see, I think, was it Asmongold or
Asmongold?
Yeah, who his whole character disappeared after he got dropped.
Wow.
I finally started watching his videos, man, and I don't know what to think of that dude. I like some of them, but sometimes I can't stand him.
I don't watch his videos, but sometimes some of this stuff comes up in my news feed. And so I saw the article where he was playing live on Twitch and he got disconnected and he lost his character. Now, it was within like the first 5 minutes of play, so at least it wasn't like horrible.
He's had bad luck, dude. He played that Bleak something game recently, and he had the same problem. He has had some bad luck lately. And it's funny, you know, it's just like you say, that just made me laugh because I've watched his videos and he's had some bad luck with these new games. He has been pissed.
All right, last up, just real quick, is Dying Light developer teases a fantasy RPG, which they say is story-focused with an exotic open world.
Bloodaxe, you hear that? You can make a paladin that gets punched in the face every cutscene.
No.
And then Rosario Dawson can come save you.
I got so burned. No. Not unless it's on Game Pass.
I'm missing this. I'm not sure where.
Dying Light 2, man. You don't remember the cutscene, Aiden? Every cutscene you get punched in the mouth? Yeah, because you're not an idiot. But Dying Light 2 had this weird thing where in every cutscene, no matter how much of a loser it was, they would punch Aiden in the face and catch him off guard. In fact, in one boss fight, as I reminded Bloodaxe, he had forgot about it, you get sucker punched by the dude you're currently fighting. I don't know how you do that. You're fighting him.
Three
and Aiden
times.
would just,
Three
times. You would literally walk up to him while you're fighting him,
punk.
drop your guard, and get decked in the mouth or tripped. And I was just like, you're in a fight. How do you get sucker punched by the person you're actually fighting? Aiden is the biggest cutscene punk. We called him cutscene punk Aiden. So I'm just imagining this game. I make a mage, and when I walk in, I go like, Master, I'm here to learn magic. Well done. Hey, what's that? What? What's that for? Dying Light 2, bitch. You know, that's just because that just does a reference. You literally get stomped in every cutscene that you're in. It don't matter who, how old, how young, how skinny, half dead. The last time the guy in that boss fight hit you, he's bleeding to death when he does it. He's like, hey, come here. What? You know, just keep my name out your mouth. We're gonna mention bitches. But no, like Aiden got done so wrong that like Bloodaxe only kept playing because I was playing with him. Because I know his tolerance is even lower than mine. He was mad because he did not level up his character to get punked by every loser in that game. And so the question is, when they say story focused,
Nobody's Nobody survives except for one person, which gives you the worst story ending possible. And I saved her, goddammit.
That ruined the game and blew up the city. So when they say story driven and they're the dying light people, I just think, I wonder how many times you're gonna get bitch slapped in the cutscene. And then when you try to save the one person that you like, you blow up the world.
Yeah.
But if it's an open world RPG, we'll see what the reviews are. I'm not going to pre-order it, and I want to see gameplay. I don't want before I
mean,
do
we don't even have a title yet. This is way early. All we know right now is Techland said, "We never stop improving. Our newest game is set to be a narrative-driven fantasy epic with an exotic open world ready to be explored. We strive to compete." Sorry, this makes me laugh because of your story now. "We strive to create a compelling story-focused AAA title that combines and refines the best aspects." The back of his hand, of gameplay that Techland is known for.
Oh, that's not good. So we're going to be running around trying to find these mana capsules and then getting slapped by every person we run into. Hey, thank you for buying my chicken. That's right. What the hell? Oh, it's what they're known for. I like that the first response somebody did was, "So no Dead Island 2." There's like an immediate response like, "Hey, that sounds cool. So no Dead Island 2, huh?" Oh, man. Yeah. Hey, at least if it's a third person, maybe you'll see the slap coming. You know, but first person, it's really in your face. You know, it was really in your face.
Game with parkour.
What, for spoken? That's terrible. I mean, the concept of an open world action RPG, you know that's my jam. But Techland, really, my cheek is still sore. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I can take all that to the mouth again. Just all that bah.
Alrighty, and that's going to wrap us up for today's show, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you find links everywhere we are online. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on YouTube so you can get notifications whenever we post something online, which hasn't been very much lately, but we're about to go to Contraflow at the end of this...
CypherCon.
CypherCon at the end of this month. And hopefully get some new interviews and stuff like that, as well as some content, maybe with cosplay. And if you're in that area, be sure to stop by. We're going to be doing a pub crawl Friday night. So come join us, and that's like 2 weeks from now. So, yeah, man, if you're in the area, we'll see you there. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy.